It's alive! It's alive! It's alive!
I want to play a game.
Hello and welcome to the Sounds from the Grave podcast. My name is Yusuf.
My name is Vanya.
And you ought to be in pictures.
So if you guys are wondering what we're doing something a little different. This is kind of Yusuf's idea. I thought it was a good idea. It's a little strange idea, but if Universal, if you want to take our considerations, please.
Well, I
Please
mean,
do.
what am I if not filled with strange ideas?
Anyway. But here we go. So our idea is today. What is it, Yusuf?
Okay, so this is something that I've talked about with you before. This is something that I keep thinking about on a too regular basis to the point where like it's kind of an obsession. But for like the longest time, I've wanted Universal to make an HHN cinematic universe. Like think Marvel, but Horror Nights. And I'm like, I need this to happen. So what we're doing today is we're going through the major icons and some of the fan favorite characters, and we are going to make some casting choices as like, let's say we're making an HHN movie. Who do we want to see as the icons? Who do we want to see as certain characters? And I think it would be a really fun idea.
So I had a really hard time with my casting, but here we freaking go. I didn't think about this until like just today, literally like maybe an hour ago. But my casting choices were carefully picked. I hoped, and yeah. So let's dive into this.
Yeah,
So
so
since it was
actually,
your
yeah.
idea, take
Yeah,
the
so
floor.
actually, yeah, before we start, I did one thing here when it came to my casting. There are some characters that I flipped the race or ethnicity on just because I feel like certain actors would really personify these characters in a way that would have been really unique and really true to the characters. So
Yeah.
there would be some interesting choices in there. But anyway, let's start off with our favorite demented evil clown, which is Jack. Now, I have two actors in mind that I'm pretty big fans of. I think that both of them really fit the aesthetic of Jack, where they have the funny aspect of it, but then they also have that dark and kind of menacing look to them. So my first choice would be Bryan Cranston to play Jack.
All
I
right.
love Bryan Cranston. I mean, he's funny from Malcolm in the Middle, so we know he can do comedy. And then watching him in Breaking Bad, you're like, okay, he can do serious work. He can be kind of scary. Like, just like certain ways he looks at things, you're like, I don't want to mess with that guy.
Yeah. Um, I, for one, have not seen much of his work. That's just me, though. But I do know what he looks like, and I don't doubt it. Definitely.
Yeah. And then my second choice, I mean, this one is kind of a kind of a given because we already know him again for doing dark work, but also doing comedy. He's Batman. He's the ghost with the most, and he could be Jack. I'm talking about Michael Keaton here.
Yeah.
Like,
That I definitely do see him because he is also in one of my choices as well for Jack. He definitely does personify funny but serious work. I was first exposed to him and Jack Frost. It's a very old movie, kind of a little sad, a little cringy, but it's like funny, serious movie.
hmm,
But then I saw most of his work with through Beetlejuice as well. So I definitely will agree on you on that casting call.
yeah,
So
yeah. So then now we share Michael Keaton as Jack, but I know you have another choice as to who else could play Jack, and I'm curious to know who you have there.
So for my second choice of Jack, it is Jack Nicholson.
Mm.
The reason why is because I see the aspect of if we were to go back to The Shining, he would do phenomenal. Of course, he's a little old now, but if we were to go back in time, grab him from that time period of The Shining, I feel like he could be a very good, like funny, and then in an aspect, but very menacingly from The Shining because he did so well as Lawrence kind of thing.
Hmm.
So I think he would definitely personify the evil and the crazy, and of course I can hear it in his voice. Like his voice is what is gonna be. I feel like with Michael Keaton it's gonna have a little bit of that Beetlejuicy voice, which I feel like that's a stamp on
Mm.
what he can do. Like he can do, but at the same time, it can be confusing. But with Jack Nicholson, I feel like it's a deeper voice. It's raspy. It could be hit hard, and of course, with the flipping of personalities from serious to really fucked up to like funny. So
Mm.
at least that's my second choice.
Yeah, and don't get me wrong, that's a really, really good choice. Like, I can definitely see Jack Nicholson as Jack the Clown, like for sure. Like,
Yeah,
yeah,
and just to
definitely a good
bring in
choice.
the time machine, just the time machine, just a little. You
Like we should do
make
it
him a little bit old, like younger. Just
like Bill and Ted style. Like
yeah, just a tad bit.
just start kidnapping famous movie stars like in their prime, and then just bringing them like, hey,
Yeah,
we need you to play this actor, we need you to play this character now.
yeah,
Like
for
no, they
sure.
have no background, they have no idea what it's about, and they're just like, okay, I guess.
Yeah. All right, so that was for our Jack the Clown.
Yeah. So now I'm
So
curious. I'm gonna bring keep it going with you because our next icon is Daddy Kane. Because
Daddy Kane, yeah.
yes, because of the Scream Queens, I'm gonna keep calling him Daddy Kane. Like that is his name now. So it is forever now, and now Daddy Kane. But anyway, what are your picks to play Daddy Kane?
Okay, so with Daddy Kane, I am looking a little bit of House of a Thousand Corpses,
Mm-hmm.
Bill Mosley, which I know that you
Mm-hmm.
also have yours
Yes.
as well. Because we were sharing the same document, and I'm not gonna lie, I kind of peeked through, but I didn't peek through that much though. I was like, well, that makes sense. That, like there's I feel like my problem with Bill Mosley though is because I only know him through House of a Thousand Corpses.
Mm-hmm.
Is that there's too much of a kick to his voice. It's not like a serious, dark voice, which I feel like he would work on because that's what actors do. They work on to try and fit the role that they're either they cast them by stereotype of what their
Mm-hmm.
best acting is, or they're stereotyped by the way of that they look or what they can personify. So I feel like with that is one of my choices for basically the just the voice. Like if he didn't have the kick in his voice, he could work on that. I feel like he would definitely be a great caretaker, in my sense. So,
Mm-hmm.
but my second choice would be Christopher Lee. I know he's old.
Well, he passed
Uh,
away actually. Christopher Lee passed away.
if he was alive, I forgot.
Yes. Remember, this is the Bill and Ted version of this.
The Bill and Ted version, yes. So I forgot he was. Fuck. So yeah, Christopher Lee, if he was alive, he would. I feel like he would definitely fit the part of caretaker, especially with his work from Lord of the Rings and all that kind of jazz. And of course, his voice. He can be serious. He can definitely act a little dark.
Hmm. I mean,
Very.
he was
He
Dracula for a
concerned
long
me.
time.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I definitely see that. So it's that's my those are my picks for Daddy Kane. Like I said,
Okay.
with Bill Mosley, it's just the kick in his voice. If he were to work on that, I feel like
Hmm.
he would be the saving grace because now Christopher Lee is in his grave and I forgot.
Yeah.
My bad.
It happens. I mean, still, I think that would also be a very good casting choice. Like,
Yeah,
if it had been a couple years ago when they were to make that, I would have in a heartbeat said, "Oh yeah, Christopher Lee is perfect as the caretaker." Or I'm sorry,
yeah.
Danny Kane. Um,
Okay.
so one of my picks is very similar. Is the same as yours. I would also like to see Bill Moseley as Daddy Kane. Um, he does have kind of like that crazy personality, like from Texas Chainsaw 2, where he was kind of a maniac. He was similar in House of a Thousand Corpses. He was a lot more serious in Devil's Rejects. So that for me is like where I kind of saw it because he's versatile enough where he can play this twisted gentleman from the 1800s. Like I think he would be pretty good at that. He already kind of fits the look of like the long, kind of nasty looking hair. Just like it's like the type of guy you're like you can't really believe that he's a gentleman. Like there's some you can tell there's something off about him, type of thing. Like
Yeah.
he looks a little out there. So yeah, I think I just based on the stuff that he's done, with Devil Street Jackson House and the stuff that I've seen him in. In terms of the brutality of the characters that he's played and how dark and vicious they are, I think he would be pretty good as the caretaker because the caretaker he was he was a crazy motherfucker.
Yeah, but I feel like when he's crazy, he's a little delicate, which is why I feel like
Mm,
with Bill Mosley, like I said, for me, I'm casting either based on acting and looks. For him, he fits the look.
yeah,
But
definitely. Yeah.
Bill, definitely, I feel like he would go a little bit too crazy in the stereotyped of killings, in the
Hmm.
stereotyped of his roles. But like, I don't know if he could be delicate like the caretaker because he was a crazy motherfucker. He will tie a bitch down and just be just that bien tranquilo, like freaking cutting up some bitches. Like, sorry, I had to throw some Spanish at y'all, but yeah, like just cutting up some bitches. I'm like, oh look,
Mm.
I get to investigate some shit. I get to see what makes a person tick. That
Yeah,
kind
there
of
you
thing.
go.
So yeah.
Yeah, I can see that point again. Yeah, I kind of chose him based on his look and just based on the personality of Otis and Devil's Rejects, because he's like I said, he's a little bit more subdued as Otis in that movie. But my next casting choice is one that's very near and dear to my heart. I think this would actually be like my perfect choice for Daddy Kane, and that would be Mads Mikkelsen from Hannibal,
Ah,
because
yes.
he's just so cool, calm, and collected. He tells you like what he does to you in such a like matter of fact way. Like in the show, at one point, he like cuts this guy's leg off, then feeds it to him, but like as this beautiful spread, and he's just like, "Oh yes, you would taste delicious with like, drizzled in like raspberry sauce and like turned over in the fire." Like he's super like calm about how he's brutalizing the pieces that he's cut off of you,
Yeah.
which also kind of brings it back to the whole story of Daddy Kane, where he had these audio diaries where like he would just explain like it was like a normal thing, the thing like the horrible things he was doing, and like I
Yeah.
feel like Mads Mikkelsen's portrayal of Hannibal was very similar to that. So I think that's why I think he would be the perfect choice, in my opinion, for Daddy Kane. Also, because
I
Mads
went up.
Mikkelsen is amazing. I love Mads Mikkelsen. Like
Yeah.
boy's hot. He's got it going on.
Ah,
He's got that European quality going on.
I do not blame you. I do not blame you. Well, anyway,
Anyway, moving on, we
you want
have.
some water? I have water.
I'm good. I'm good. I think I can keep my thirst in check right now.
All right, so I think for you, now you get to pick up the floor with our next daddy,
Yeah,
which is Leather Daddy. All
our
the different
leather. We
daddies.
have a lot of daddies that are HHN
Now,
related because now we have our
yeah,
leather chainsaw daddy Eddie. And
yeah.
my first pick for Eddie is, if you're a wrestling fan, I think you're gonna like this. I would say Kane to play Eddie. It's
Came
because
from, I know I sound
yeah,
very
he was a
uneducated,
he was a
but
wrestler back in the day. I think I'm using it. I'm choosing Kane based off his portrayal in the movie See No Evil, where he plays kind of as that type of character, like the kind of in your face, brutal slasher villain.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah. So I
Yeah,
think
yeah,
and he also kind of fits that size because I've always imagined Eddie to be kind of a buff dude, and I mean
yeah.
Kane was a professional wrestler, so like this dude was pretty buff too. So like I feel like he would fit the body type and like the look of Eddie.
I see it. I don't know much about wrestling, but I'm pretty sure that Cece and everybody else that's a wrestling
hmm
person will definitely appreciate that pick
I'll
for
I'll
sure.
send you some pictures of Kane like back in the day, like because he used to wear like this terrifying mask, and like he was up there with like Undertaker that were like very horror influenced. So like that's why I like to choose him as well for like that type of stuff.
Yeah, I need to get into
But
wrestling. Y'all need to invest it in me. Please stick it in me. I don't know anything.
please stick it in me, Jesus.
Hi guys.
What is going on with us in this episode? this
Where's the
episode
new hashtag? We didn't even have a hashtag last episode, though,
no,
so
we
don't
really
even
because
at
we
me.
couldn't think of
Don't
anything,
even at me.
but
So
this I think this episode is brought to you by thirst.
thirst. Exactly. Because we're talking about celebrities at this point. We're
It's
already in
Yeah,
that thing
like
already.
we're talking about HHN icons that we are confirmed to have crushes on, and we're also talking about celebrities that are like essentially live action versions of these icons. So we're like, you're it.
Yeah. All right,
Um,
but what
but
is
yeah,
your second pick?
my second pick for Eddie. Again, this is one of the ones where I kind of change the look of the character, but again, based on body size, and I think based on the attitude of some of the characters that he's played, especially in Game of Thrones, Jason Momoa, I think, would be a good fit for Eddie.
I see it. I kind of see it. I
Yeah.
mean, Jason Momoa is hot. I guess, but like, I mean, but other than that, I had to like fan. I was like, but I don't know. Like, he would be a good fit for Eddie, and of course, there's a change of ethnicity and look and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But like, I've never seen Jason Momoa. Well, a lot of these celebrities, to be fair, like in a horror type scene. But it would be
Mhm.
interesting to see, kind of take in another acting style of another actor for something like this. You know?
Yeah. 'Cause, like the reason I like to pick him too is because of his portrayal of Khal Drogo in Game of Thrones. Because Khal Drogo, he just ran like a tribe of essentially just a tribe of savages. And I feel like it's
Yeah.
very similar to what Eddie did with like the whole crew that he ran and like the Run series of houses and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So like that's why I kind of like him, especially because in like the same thing in Game of Thrones, he was a brutal character. Like he was not afraid to just kill whoever got in his way, even if it was like sometimes his own people. So
Yeah.
like this dude had like no remorse, like no chill, like nothing. Like he was just a wall of killing.
Yeah.
So I think that's why I think
It's fair.
he'd be a good fit for Eddie. But now I gotta know what your picks are for Eddie.
So mine are a little different in looks
Okay.
and their type of acting style. I based it off a very cheesy, but also very realistically personality wise. I feel like I picked it more for the acting style and personality wise rather than
Okay.
look, but I do see the look in some of them. For my first pick, I picked Skeet Ulrich, which he was in Scream. And he was also the dad. I forgot. Jughead's dad in Riverdale. And
Mm-hmm.
everybody knows that he was like the daddy back in the like early '90s, and everybody just wanted to like yeet. But more so, I know that this is gonna be very contradictory, and if you guys give me shit for it, I'm so sorry. I have watched so much Riverdale. I watch it because it's a guilty pleasure, not because I genuinely enjoy it. But his acting in that one, knowing that he was a part of Scream, is phenomenal. That kind of thing, because like he was a part of a gang with full of the serpents,
Hmm.
the serpents. I forgot the south side serpents. Yeah, it was the south
It's
side
something like that.
serpents,
Yeah.
and like the fact that he was like the leader of the gang and ran with so much stuff, and he had been to disturbing stuff. He was buff. He didn't give a fuck who was in his way. Like literally, like that's how I would like see Eddie in a sense because he has the black hair. I do see Eddie like behind the mask, like with like scruffles, like, and that's what I kind of imagined him if he were to ever take off his mask, kind of thing, like
Hmm.
just disturbing, like, and the fact that he could also in the movie Scream and how maniacal he could be. I feel like it would fit the role of Eddie. But I feel like physical wise, personality wise, he would definitely be Eddie. Not the perfect one, but definitely like a really like polished up version. But I know that he would
Okay.
be way smaller than Jack because compared to Michael Keaton and of course Jack Nicholson, like he would be a pipsqueak. But that's how I kind of imagine Jack and Eddie. I kind of imagine Jack like this really like big in dad bod size, like taller than Eddie, and Eddie's like this scrawny masculine like tough motherfucker like. But he was like his big bro that's kind of dad bod, like, what's up, bitch? Like, that kind of thing. But he can fuck up his brother because
I
I'm
feel
like, I
like
might be shorter than you,
straight
but
up,
like,
I
I'm
feel
about to.
like like Eddie and Jack would be the type of brothers where like Jack would be laying in his room like watching TV or something. Eddie would walk in, knock something down, flick him off, and then just walk away. Like, I feel like that's their
Basically.
brother, like their brotherly relationship.
Yeah, that's how I see it, honestly. But my second pick will be, of course, Bill Skarsgård. Skarsgård?
Really? Bill
Yeah,
Skarsgård, huh? I
yeah,
never would have
because
imagined you to pick that for Eddie, honestly.
the reason why is because I can imagine the actor with black hair maniacal in a sense of because since Eddie has a fucked up eye and the
Mm-hmm.
fact that he knows how to distortion his eyes so well, like it will definitely give that look of like with the different eye color and of course like he can do some shit with his faces like because now imagine with like like acting you have to have like a mask cover your mouth but like then he can do so much with his eyes that it will just speak louder especially if like Eddie's not the type to talk like I don't know
Mm-hmm.
if he would be the type to talk so like I feel like with him, it would be a little bit of a psycho, like maniacal, and also like he can do a lot of expression with his eyes. But I don't know. I haven't seen him recently how he is built. I kind of assume he has muscle, but just not as big as I
I think he's
think.
like thin fit, like where he's like thin, but he's got like a fit body. Like I think that's how
Like
he
I
is.
said, like I said, that he's a daddy, but he's a pimp squeak. Like he's the pimp squeak, like muscular, like tiny motherfucker, like with like ripped. Like he's ripped and he's skinny, but he's like the skinny fit. I feel like that's how I see Eddie
Skinny fit. Okay.
personally. Yeah, because with Jack, because he's in the circus, he'll eat junk food. He's out in the streets. He fucking killed children. Like you expect that motherfucker to be fit?
Listen,
No, like.
all he does is eat like popcorn and cotton candy. Like anybody would have a dad bod at that point. I think.
Yeah, exactly. So with Ron, I feel like with Eddie being like a gang type of like thing, but also keeping himself fit, like he would just be like a skinny type of muscular dude. That's why I
Okay.
picked those two.
Hey,
So
no,
like
I was just curious because because
he can be
Bill
raspy,
Skarsgård,
and his voice can be like raspy too.
because Bill Skarsgård is on my list for another character, but I'm just surprised to see you pick him for Eddie. But anyway, that's your
Yeah.
choice. I'm not gonna knock it. I'm not gonna just be like, oh, that's wrong. Like, 'cause that's not
Uh,
how I roll.
it's just that I can just see some of these celebrities with dyed hair, and
Hmm.
like them being able to deliver. Of course, I didn't consider them in height wise because I don't even want to know how fuck fucked up. I messed up their height there with besides Jack, you know,
Mm.
but
I mean,
I based
I
it on,
think
of
it's
course,
okay
more
though.
personality wise, you know.
Yeah, and I think height isn't really that big of a deal. I mean, the prime example of this I think would be Hugh Jackman as Wolverine, because me being a comic book nerd for like a split second here. In the comics, Wolverine is known for being relatively short. Like he's like 5'3" or something like that. Like he's pretty short for a superhero. But
Yeah.
then, when Hugh Jackman plays him, Hugh Jackman is like 6'2". So he's like almost like a whole foot taller than him, but you still look at him, you're like, "Oh, that's just Wolverine." Like it doesn't I don't think height is really that big of an issue, I think.
Well, for me, it's just like I know that you can play tricks on the camera
Mhm.
and you can make someone look shorter and or larger
Yeah, yeah.
kind of thing, taller. But you know, it's just one of those things where like I want to see like a height difference between like Jack and Eddie. I feel like like Eddie's just a tad bit shorter
Mm,
than Jack, just a tad
okay.
bit. That's the only thing that I would be like peeved me. But that's just like my casting nerd coming
Mhm.
out because I did do the Love Island casting, and I'm just anal about that. But that's it.
But now we keep it in your ballpark. So what is your next character, and what are your casting choices?
So with the next one is Rat Daddy.
Yeah,
Which
Rat
is
Daddy.
Rat Daddy, as you guys know that you know, we already started that shit with comparing it with Ghost, and now we're just a part of this really rat clan. But anyway, for the director, my first choice would be James McAvoy.
Okay.
Because I'm basing it off of his performance in Split and Glass.
Hmm.
The fact that he is a phenomenal actor, and of course in Narnia, like he is a very diverse actor. That I feel like he could do
Holy
anything.
shit! I forgot he was in Narnia. Oh
Oh,
my
he was in
god.
Narnia.
He was Yeah, that's
Yeah,
right. He was Tumnus. Oh my god. I
yeah.
completely forgot that was him.
The
Damn.
Awakening. Yeah,
Hell
The
yeah. I
Awakening.
was like, wow. Completely forgot that was him.
Yeah.
Anyway,
So
I'm
the
so
fact.
sorry. I completely interrupted you with like my entire like. I feel like Channing Tatum in 22 Jump Street when you hear like that ding and it's like, oh shit. That was me
Yeah.
for a second.
Yeah, so like I said, he's a very diverse actor. He can basically do anything and everything. And I feel like physical wise, appearance wise, he would be perfect. I have not seen him in black hair, but I feel like that would be a very interesting take
Mm,
on the director. And of course, I feel like the fact that he has done Split with all those multiple personalities, I feel like there could be one that he could stick with and just do it because I feel like he has a lot of body language, a lot of like like voice variety that I can see him being a little creepy and
okay.
then just pointing a camera at whoever the victim is in this film, whatever that might be. But
Think it would be
yes,
interesting to see him with like a different type of hairstyle, because obviously in Split and Glass he shaved his head, but normally he just has like regular just brown hair.
yeah,
But I think it would be interesting to see him with like the greasy kind of long, like super unkempt hair. I'm like, that would be interesting to watch on him, because normally he's either like relatively like nice and you know combed and everything, or he doesn't have any hair. So like, I'm interested to see
yeah,
how he would look like that.
yeah. Then my second choice would be Johnny Depp, of course, another
Yes.
actor with a lot of variety in his acting career. I am just a little concerned with some kind of like body language. Like it's something in his voice that I would want him to capture it perfectly. He does have the perfect voice tone. It's just something that his body language is gonna have to change drastically compared to a lot of the things that he's done.
Hmm.
Still keeping his fluid movements because of course as the director he's constantly moving some type of way, kind of like just very fluid movements, but then he can't take it to a whimsical sense, you know, and a
Yeah.
whimsical approach to it. So, which is what I'm used to seeing from
I
him.
mean,
But
yeah, I think it would be. I think performance-wise, his work would be similar to Sweeney Todd,
yeah,
and
absolutely.
I would also say, I think it's a movie that he did. I think it was called Secret Window, where he plays a
Yeah,
writer that's like a little messed up in the head. So I think that
yeah,
would be a good. Actually, no, not even that. He played Ed Wood, like in the movie Ed Wood by Tim Burton, and like he played a director. Obviously,
yeah,
that was like a different type of performance, but like it was a similar style of acting, I think, of like just
yeah,
kind of a weird director type character. So yeah,
yeah.
but yeah, he's also in my choices for the director. I think he would be a really good fit for that character too.
Yeah, but like I said, just keep the whimsical movements
Hmm.
to a
Yeah.
line, and then I think we would be good. He would be perfect. Just
Hmm.
as James McAvoy, I feel like both of them would be amazing. The director, I have because they're both so diverse. They've done everything. It's hard for me to just like say this is the perfect director when they can both be. And plus Johnny Depp, I can give you a job. Fuck them Pirates of the Caribbean
Jesus.
bitches.
Fucking Disney on that one, seriously. Um Now, for me, choosing actors for the director was actually a little bit more difficult than I thought because the director is my favorite icon, so like I wanted somebody that would do him justice.
Yeah.
So, outside of Johnny Depp, my other pick would actually be David Tennant because he can definitely play like that menacing character which we saw him do as the Purple Man in Jessica Jones on Netflix. And then he can also give you a lot of those mood swings, kind of similar to what he did as the Doctor in Doctor Who, where like his emotions would range wildly, and he can definitely play kind of that kind of sleazy type of director character, because you can kind of see that in the little tiny itty bitty microscopic bit that he was in Harry Potter.
Yeah.
And I haven't seen Good Omens, but I've heard very, very good things about it. And I think just like in terms of his personality and not even that, like his look too, because he's really thin. He's got that dark hair, and I've seen him, with that kind of like messed up looking hair. So I think he could be a good fit for that. And in
Uh,
similar to what you said about James McAvoy, he's really, really versatile as an actor.
yeah. So yeah. That's a pretty good
Yeah.
choice. I'm seeing a picture and now it's kind of coming to me. Mind you guys, I only remember very few actors. I have to like
She's currently on
remember the
IMDb
movie.
looking them up as we speak.
Yeah, because I remember very few actors, but if you tell me what character and what movie, I'm like, oh
Hmm.
yeah, that actor. I even know them. I also saw them in X, Y, and Z. I'm terrible with names. Great with faces. Terrible with names. But yeah.
But then moving on to our next icon here, we're talking, somebody a little older. Talking about the storyteller here.
And if Timmy
So,
was to hear this podcast, he would be like, remove that bitch immediately. Yo, Timmy talks mad shit about the storyteller. I kind of feel bad for her because it was like Timmy will bully her to the point that she dies, you know?
my
Like,
God,
yeah, Timmy's Timmy's character,
Timmy
but I
Timmy
love him.
does not take prisoners when it comes to the storyteller.
Yeah, queen, a whole queen. That's what Timmy is. Yeah,
Yes, definitely.
yeah. But what?
But
I'm guessing
my
this is your
my
turn.
yes, it is.
Yeah.
So my dream casting for the storyteller. My first choice on this would actually be Helen Mirren. Um,
Same.
I think she's very, very talented. She definitely can give you that dark look while also looking like an innocent old lady, but with that dark edge to her.
Yeah.
And yeah, like I can just picture her in like the little, like the little grandma vest and like the hair tied up in a bun and like little midnight glasses. I'm like, I can see that. Like, yeah, I think she'd be a
Yeah.
good fit for that.
She's also in mine, and she was the only choice, unfortunately, because I was like, "Damn, I don't know of any old ladies." I was gonna put a young person in there if we were
Hmm.
gonna change her into the Terror Queen later on,
Funny enough,
but
I hate to admit this, but I completely forgot I was gonna add the Terror Queen to this document and kind of go for a casting for her, but my dumbass forgot to do it.
yeah, I mean,
But
I know someone who would be perfect as the Terror Queen, if she was like the storyteller, because I feel like she would fit the storyteller if she was younger, or if my theory and others from Reflections of Fear podcast that me and him had the same theory. And I'm sorry if I misgender you, but I bet like I just want to make sure that I acknowledge, because me and that person had the same theory. Storyteller is the Terror Queen. Don't at me. Don't at me.
I'm not adding you. But I'm curious to know who before I say my next actress for the storyteller. What would be your choice for the queen?
Okay, for me, if she was the storyteller, but I feel like she would also be really good as the Terror Queen, because I have seen her. It's a little. How do I say this?
The suspense is
She
killing me.
is she is sassy, but she can also be sweet. But she has had very versatile. She's more casted as the Victorian type characters
Hmm.
kind of thing. But Ismia was the Kauska, like the one
Oh,
that
from
does
Alice in Wonderland.
Alice in Wonderland, Crimson
Okay.
Peak, Jane Eyre. I feel like because she's so pale, and if you look at her celebrity picture, she looks old. I know that she's young, but she looks old. She is 31 years old. That kind of thing. And if not, the I am terrible with names. This just came to me right now. The witch from Narnia.
Oh, Tilda Swinton.
Oh yeah, she
Oh
would be
yes,
would be a
yes.
she would be an amazing
Right?
Terror
Oh
Queen,
my God,
honestly.
yes.
Yeah, so those two, they're mad pale, super powerful. I feel like in body language, Mia could really bring it, but with Hilda, I think that's
Yeah,
her.
Tilda Swinton.
Hilda
Oh
is her
yeah,
name. See,
I can
like
definitely
I
see it.
remember faces. I don't remember names. I feel like she would definitely bring it as a powerful like queen and like
Okay.
body language, and she literally will like rule shit. So
Funny enough, for the Terror Queen, I actually would have also said Angelina Jolie because of Maleficent.
that's fair.
I think because she has like that regal face to her, kind of like that queenly look, but also kind of dangerous.
Yeah,
So I think, but no, but definitely Tilda Swinton is like the Terror Queen personified.
yeah, she is. And if you've seen her in What We Do in the Shadows, great sitcom by the way, but it is she was there, and the fact that she could also be scary and comedy, I was like, this is it. This is peak. This is mint. Fucking mint. Anyway,
Anyway,
anyway.
back to the storyteller here. My other pick for the storyteller would be Professor McGonagall herself, Maggie Smith, because she
I see.
definitely has like that innocent, normal old lady look to her. But we all know Professor McGonagall was a badass bitch, and like I can see Maggie Smith playing something similar with storyteller.
Oh yeah, I see it.
Because
Damn.
she definitely has that like,
Oof.
oh,
You
kindly
look
innocent
rough.
older lady.
You look rough. Not gonna lie to
She's
you.
an older lady. Come on,
I
be
know,
nice.
but I know I am nice. It's just like, um, wasn't she
I
in
mean,
Harry Potter
the
too?
storyteller isn't this beautiful
Yeah,
woman either.
I
Storyteller's kind
know.
of
No,
ugly.
but she look. But, okay, I'm not jinxing it. Please, whatever entity that's listening to me, I'm not jinxing it. I'm just pointing it out. She looks deathly. Like, I'm
You
just
mean
saying.
she's looking Deathly
It's
Hallows?
very. Shut up, please. Anyway,
Anyway,
but she do look like. she is very close to a casket. So just saying, it's great. Very.
But I think yeah, she would definitely fit the look of the storyteller.
Would. I definitely agree.
Yeah. But now we turn the table over to you. What? Oh no, you already said the storyteller would be Helen Mirren as well for you, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So now we still bring it
Because
over to
I
you because
couldn't
you're
think of
talking.
anything. Yeah.
I mean,
So
and Helen Mirren is a fine choice. Don't get me wrong. I think she would be really good for that too.
yeah, it's like I'm thinking more uh something that will definitely bring it to the table.
Hmm.
That kind of thing. I feel like she would definitely be personified, kind of thing. But next pick for our next icon is, of course, Bloody Mary.
Yes.
It's very weird because I based it off one movie on both of their performances.
Okay.
They're both in the same movie. I was gonna put somebody else, but the fact that one acts better than the other is what made me pick. Oh, but maybe I should change it now that I think about it.
Ooh, what are you thinking of? What are you thinking of? I'm curious.
I put three.
You can
Is it?
put
Am
three.
I allowed to put
You
three?
can put three. We
Um,
didn't make a limit on this. I made myself the limit of only two, but no, you can put as many as you want. So if you want to go for a third one, I'm all ears.
I don't remember her first name. I do remember her last name, so I'm gonna have to look her up really quick.
Okay.
Yada yada yada. So
Da, 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 da,
da,
da,
da,
da,
da, da.
da, 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 da,
That's
da,
definitely the
da,
wrong
da,
version.
da, 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 da,
100% the
da,
wrong
da.
version.
This is just something to keep everybody entertained while
Okay,
you're doing
there
your
it is.
search.
Yeah. Okay. So that's her name. Okay. So for Bloody Mary, I
Hmm.
have three choices because then it just hit me that in that same movie they did play an asylum character, so that also was the thing. I was like, shit, maybe I should have included her, but now she's added, so too bad. So my first pick would be Eva Green.
Okay.
She okay. So before I go into that, I based it off of the movie Dark Shadows, the 2015 version, because they did also phenomenal, and I think they were all really good actresses because they all are very diverse too, and they have all that like that dark look to them, but they can also
Hmm.
be maniacal and all that kind of sense. So yeah, first one is
Okay.
Eva Green because of course she was the past lover of Barnabas, and the fact that she has the long black hair, she's very scrawny, but she can also like she can move her body like it's literally like deathly. If you
Mm.
haven't not seen that movie, it's like unnatural, but mind you that Dark Shadows is a horror comedy movie, but still like the fact that she can personify evil, it's kind of hard because you kind of confuse her when you look at her at first glance. You think that she does look a lot like a mixture of Anne Hathaway and Angelina Jolie had a baby, and that's literally what she
Yeah,
looks
yeah,
like.
that's pretty much what she looks like, yeah.
Yeah, so Eva Green is definitely one of those choices because I feel like with Bloody Mary, even though she is a doctor, she can also be maniacal because she can be very obsessed with her patients, and the fact that she was so obsessed with Barnabas makes me wonder. Okay, like she would be very obsessed, in
Mhm.
a sense, when she's a doctor that she wants to experiment on all her patients and be crazy about it. And just, I can just imagine her like freaking slamming blood on the mirror, and like I definitely see her because physique and of the fact that she acted there. The next one is Helena Bonham Carter, which is Tim
Okay,
Burton's former
yeah.
wife. Uh, th- I want to see her in the long dark black hair, and but especially, but just like I feel like she could take it to a whole nother level because we have seen her in different roles, and of course in Dark Shadows she was also a like a doctor. So we do see her play that role, but of course we also seen her in Sweeney Todd, and you know that she's very diverse, from crazy to serious. I feel like she would also be a great fit for Bloody
Mhm.
Mary.
I think I would use that based off of her performance as Bellatrix in Harry Potter. Like I think she definitely fits like that maniacal, demonic, dark person.
Yeah, so she is definitely my second pick.
Okay.
But my third pick, also from Dark Shadows, is Bella Heathcote. She was the girl that was Victoria Winters in Dark Shadows. She was locked away for seeing a ghost and
Mm-hmm.
into an asylum, and that's why I based it off of, oh shit, like if she goes into an asylum, it kind of reminds me a little bit of like Bloody Mary. And she has if you look at her face, like, you can see that she like it's like Dr. Mary Agana like before, and then you can just imagine like that celebrity going through a really dark change. And if she was to dye her hair black, I'm sold. She would be an ideal Bloody Mary because I imagine her beautiful, but then she also has like that exhausted, like kind of like a Tim Burton look. But at
Mm-hmm.
the same time, but then as she goes through like the torture and of course her changing into Bloody Mary, I feel like it would be like amazing. Like it's like those characters that you don't imagine. I like a lot of people didn't think Margot Robbie can be Margot Robbie, sorry, from Suicide Squad couldn't be Harley Quinn, but she fucking brought it. I feel like this would be a little bit kind of like that transformation kind of thing. So,
Okay.
hmm
So I don't know anything about that actress because I've actually never seen Black Shadows. And for Ava Green,
Dark
the
Shadows.
only thing I've ever seen Ava Green in was Casino Royale, like the one of the James Bond movies. That's the only thing I've ever actually seen her in. So that's why I don't have like
Yeah,
that much of a point of comparison with her. Um,
yeah. Maybe. But
but
as you are gonna look, but you could
yeah,
say yours as I send you a picture of Bella Heathcote.
okay.
Oh,
So my picks were a little bit unorthodox because I kind of wanted to go more doctor that starts out normal and then slowly loses their sanity. So my because I'm thinking more of like a Bloody Mary origin story type thing. So my first pick for that would be Carrie Mulligan. Because I loved her in Great Gatsby. I loved her in the second Wall Street sequel, and I also really liked her in the one episode of Doctor Who that she was in because I thought she was really talented. I don't know. I just think like she would be very good at playing a doctor that's just like starts out innocent, starts out with like really good intentions, but as her fears worsen and as her mental, decline starts to happen, she can get real dark real fast.
yeah.
But my next pick, I think this would actually be like my perfect pick for Bloody Mary, as a like starting from Dr. Mary Agana up until Bloody Mary. That would be Elizabeth Moss from
Elizabeth.
Handmaid's Tale and
Oh
Invisible Man.
yes,
This
I see
woman,
it.
this woman can definitely play a character that is losing their mind. We definitely see that in Invisible Man, where she's so paranoid and she's so afraid for her life that she also gets sent to an asylum. Like she gets trapped in an asylum. And
Yeah,
I just like her, and not only that, her acting is just so good and so chilling. Like Handmaid's Tale,
I
Elizabeth
haven't
Moss
seen
is
it,
a whole
but I
different
heard.
monster. Like Handmaid's Tale, Elizabeth Moss is just one of the greatest acting performances I've ever seen. Because
Yeah.
it's a similar thing where like you see her losing herself into this world and into this character. So like
See it.
I that's why I think that she would be really good at playing Dr. Mary Agana, going through that mental decline and just completely letting herself go and turning into Bloody Mary.
I can see it. The only thing, I'm not shitting on you.
Mhm.
Just let's make that real clear.
Okay.
Is that her? Well, I'm not gonna lie. My Bella Heathcote does kind of have the same facial features
Mhm.
as Elizabeth Moss. She does have a little bit more of a square type face, which is
Okay.
not I'm not used to, but she is a phenomenal actor. I mean, Invisible Man, she literally sold it to me. So I was just like, yep, that's it. I like this movie. It's just like her face is a little bit boxy, but also like Bella Heathcote also has a boxy
Yeah, I
look.
was looking at the picture now. I'm like, yeah, they have a similar like bone facial structure.
Yeah, both
I can see
facial
it.
structure, but She
Yeah.
she pretty though. I mean, they're both blonde with blue eyes, which I
Hmm.
kind of imagine like Bloody Mary with like black hair.
I did too, so that's why I don't think I'd have a problem with Elizabeth Moss like dyeing her hair or anything like that.
But I imagine Bloody Mary with black hair and blue eyes. I don't know why. That's
Mm.
just something that I just like. Oh, I see that.
Interesting.
So yeah,
But so then the next character that I'm moving on to is the Usher. Now here I went very much with the body type as well as just like the attitude and like the overall personality of the character. So my first pick for this was Bill Skarsgård because I
yeah,
remember seeing like the promotional material and like the when the Usher showed up on a news station,
yeah,
and you can compare that with Pennywise from It, and you're like, that's pretty similar actually. Like they play very similar characters there. And I think,
yeah,
yeah, like kind of like playing that type of almost. It's weird because he talks like he's kind of in a trance, like the Usher does.
yeah.
Like he talks like he's being hypnotized or something. It's kind of weird how he talks and how he his mannerisms work. Like they're always a little bit off, and that's why I think Bill Skarsgård would be a good fit for it because as a person he is kind of off.
I agree. I agree.
Yeah.
I mean, like
Okay.
I think I would do that as the Usher as well if he wasn't to do so well as Eddie. But I
Hmm.
feel like ideally maybe Skeet Ulrich might sell it, maybe.
I think he
But
could also do it too.
if not, then Usher as well. So
Okay. And then my next pick, I went a little bit younger on this one. This is Freddie Highmore, so the guy who played Norman in Bates Motel. Because I think he can play that type of character, kind of
yeah,
the character that looks normal but isn't. It's just dark. It's like you know that there's something wrong with them, type of thing.
yeah. I
Like the darkness is not well hidden at all, type of thing.
wait until that guy gets older. Dude. I mean, he's pretty close to. I think he's in his 20s. I think.
I'm not sure, but I feel like
I'm
he's
not
younger
sure.
than
He
Bill
a little
Skarsgård. So
young. Oh, for sure. Because I was like, damn. But when he grows up, whoo, bitch,
yeah, especially because like
all
I
them
can,
bitches are gonna be all over him.
because I can see him, being that type of character, especially like as the Usher before he became the Usher that we know, where he was just Julian Browning, and like
Yeah,
he's very much like that stickler for the rules, and you can kind of see that when he plays one of like that the main character in The Good Doctor, where like he's
yeah.
very by the book, he's very like straight face, that kind of thing. So I think he could do that pretty well.
I definitely agree. Especially like a backstory if we were to
Hmm.
get one for Jillian Browning as well. Like,
Yeah. So, what is your pick to play the Usher?
it's weird because I had to think about this, and
Hmm.
as I was looking through celebrities, that I was like, yeah, I had to look up like pictures and names of celebrities because I know I cannot name them off the top of my head, and I will not remember them. But I chose for the Usher Crispin Glover.
Okay.
Uh,
Okay. I can
yeah,
see that.
because
He already looks like the Usher, so.
yeah, which is why I was like facial wise, he's got it. Literally, um, he's done serious roles. He's done funny roles. Of course, I know him a lot more through Back to the Future, and of course,
Hmm.
some of the Alice in Wonderland series as well. He was also in those as well.
Hmm.
I know. Is that? I'm pretty sure that's him.
So yeah, I know
I had no
I mostly know
idea.
him from Back to
Um,
the Future and the creepy Thin Man in the Charlie's Angels movies.
yeah. So apparently he also Willy Wonka?
Oh, he was Willy
Oh, that's
Wonka
not
and like
it.
yeah, he was
What the
Willy
fuck?
Wonka in like one of those like parody movies. I think it was in like Epic Movie or something like that.
Yeah, the I'm pretty sure. Yeah, okay, but still, like his hairstyle, especially slicked back,
Hmm.
the bone structure, the look-alike, and he's done serious to very characters. I feel like he would nail it as the Usher. I see him ideally as the Usher, but because of
No, I can see
basically
that too.
just
Honestly, I can
yeah.
definitely see that. Yeah. I just want him to do the dance scene from Friday the 13th Part 4 as the Usher though.
Oh my God, stop.
Like in like the uniform and like the makeup and just like the Usher just randomly does that dance.
Yeah, I just kind of imagine him as this awkward, like bring the awkwardness from like
Hmm.
Back to the Future, but just make it like stickler to the rules,
Okay.
too
I
serious.
can see that,
And
yeah.
then just to see him in like as like fucking like murdering people, like
Hmm.
because they don't know how to bang, like would be immense.
Okay.
Yeah.
So now I'm curious, what is your next pick? Well, actually, because what is our next icon?
So our next icon, because I looked these up. I swear to God, I'm not fucking with you. Like I'm terrible with names. I it is the Fear. Fear. We all know Fear. Fear is a great person. If he was a little bit more built, this actor was a little bit more built, and he was my only choice because I'm like I don't know a lot of like actors that play creatures
Hmm.
and like that are good in makeup, like good in acting in creatures besides Bill Skarsgård. But of
Yeah.
course, that's more of a younger. Like they can't do the voice for it. I feel like movement wise,
Hmm.
this actor would nail it. Is Doug Jones, which we know him
Ooh,
from
I
Pan's
like that.
Labyrinth.
Yeah,
So
I
if he
like
was a
that.
little bit more fucking built, like, or they put like a suit outfit on him,
Hmm.
would the fact that he moves so like natural, and I feel like Fear would kind of be in that vibe, like just not very creepy and all this other stuff. I definitely see Doug Jones. And he was my one and only pick because I was like, I don't know a lot of actors that can get into a suit and still be terrifying unless you're
Hmm.
talk about Art the Clown, but that's a whole nother being. But you know,
Yeah. Yeah, that's like
yeah.
I think that would
So
be like a different type of character.
yeah, it's kind of like a mystic,
Cause
like a monster character, like a
yeah, cause
monster character.
yeah, Doug Jones mostly plays like these types of like almost like mythological creatures type thing. So I think that's why
Yeah,
yeah, I would say he's a pretty good fit for that.
yeah.
Mine I kind of went more as like how authoritative they can be because Fear is supposed to be like the leader of all the icons type thing because
Yeah.
he's the one that controls them. First one I went with is a little weird. But I think Oscar Isaac would be kind of good as Fear. I similar like he may not have the body, but I think he's got like like the acting for it, or like he can be like super like godly and authoritative, and just being like you minions shall do my bidding type thing. And I
See,
think I think he would
I
look pretty
see
good in the makeup.
you're about to make me have fantasize some shit. Shit.
Yet again, this episode is brought to you by Thirst.
First, yeah, bam.
I think we've fallen into
Oh,
our
I
own
hate how
thirst.
cute. I
We've
hate how
fallen
cute he
into our
is.
own thirst trap here.
Basically, we make ourselves thirsty. Stay thirsty, my friends.
Stay thirsty, my friend. Jesus Christ.
You can tell how awful I am with celebrities and knowing their names. I know what they look like. I just don't know
Yeah.
their name. But yes.
So my next one, he's not super well known. He hasn't been in a lot of stuff, but it would be Yahya Abdul Mateen, I think the second or the third. He was he was Black Manta in Aquaman, and he is going to be in the new Candyman. He's going to be the main character in the new Candyman. And from what the last trailer showed us, where it looks like he's turning into Candyman, I
Yeah.
can definitely see that as him playing Fear. Like I
Yeah.
especially with like that similar style of voice that I think was his what was the actor's name from Candyman? I think it was Todd Phillips, something like that. I think it was something Phillips.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think he also would be a great fit, especially with like that deep, dark, booming voice that he has. I think that would be
Yeah.
pretty cool.
He's gonna fucking kill it for sure. He
Yeah.
definitely looks like it. The physique for it is gonna be
He's
phenomenal.
definitely got like the body type for Fear.
Yeah. Get that man on stilts. But yes.
So moving on to the next icon. This is actually an icon I don't know too much about because I never got to experience them, but I actually went a little crazy reading up on the lore of this character from the Horror Nights wiki, and that is Lady Luck.
Yeah, I like Lady. Well, yeah, I had to appreciate her more after reading into it more. I had to. It is a very interesting backstory for her.
Hmm.
I didn't even know about it until just not too long ago. Like during HHN at home, I read about it because I was gonna either do a Bloody Mary look or it was another character. I forgot which one I even did. Oops.
Hmm.
But either way, I do appreciate her as a character. So it would be interesting to see her play a little bit of gambling with someone and,
Oh
trying to
yeah.
go after them and, you know, placing them into a certain asylum that
Hmm.
we all know about. But what is your pick for
So my
the.
first pick is Jamila Jamil from The Good Place. I don't know why exactly, like just something about her just like really stuck out to me. Like I think it's
Okay.
kind of she has like that like femme fatale look of like she can invite you in and be like, super flirty and like, really get your attention. And then that's when she strikes. And she can turn into
Yeah.
like this horrific monster. I don't know, like just something about her just like struck out to me that way.
Yeah, I see it. It's interesting for you to like actually choose someone of color for her. So I think that's really cool.
Mm. And again, it wasn't
'Cause
because
I didn't
I
know.
didn't want to just stick with a specific race or anything because it is kind of weird to like say this, but there's really no icon of color. So
Yeah,
and
it
again, this
makes sense.
isn't I didn't try to just be like, oh, they're white, they're gonna play a white, like it's gonna be played by a white actor. I'm like, who which actor or actress fits the role the most? That was like my thinking
Yeah,
going into it. Um, but the next one that I have for Lady Luck is somebody that I love to death. And actually, I've been kind
really.
of going on a marathon of the Alien movies, and that is Sigourney Weaver. Like,
She is gorgeous, and I can definitely
even
imagine her as Lady
like it
Luck.
does not matter what era of Sigourney Weaver you choose. Just Sigourney Weaver, I think,
Yeah,
is perfect.
some
Because
water.
like, look, stop. I mean, look at Sigourney Weaver as when she gets possessed by Zool in Ghostbusters,
Oh yeah,
and then look at her in the Alien franchise. Like two complete different types of characters, but they're just like the fact that she can bounce around both of them at the same time, like, is so cool to me.
yeah, I agree. She's fucking gorgeous.
Yeah.
She. Uh, wow, how I wish to age her like fine wine.
You age so gracefully.
Age gracefully, please. What other movies has she been like other than Avatar 2, which they claim is gonna come out next year? Ah, me. Uh,
Yeah.
it's
But
nice to
yeah.
dream. Oh, but yeah, I definitely like those choices. I don't know too much about Jamila Jamil, but Sigourney Weaver is. I definitely I tried like not that I tried. I watched A Good Place at my college.
Hmm.
Um, we started watching it because we somehow really it was a screenwriting class. Like we really dived into sitcoms for some odd reason when it came to script writing. So I was just like, interesting, but I need to start keep watching it though because it is really funny. But
Yeah, I really like that show. It's really funny.
So with my picks for Lady of Luck, I did one younger, one older
Mm-hmm.
type, and of course, based on both of their performances. So my first pick is an older woman, but I definitely see her because she's played a very diverse amount of characters, not only in the movie Glass, but in the beloved horror series of American Horror Story, and that is Sarah Paulson. I
Okay.
do see her as a Lady Luck because she can go anywhere from sweet to maniacal, crazy to very seductress in some aspects. So I definitely see Sarah Paulson because I see her a lot in the red hair type of like look. Sarah Paulson, I will say one thing: blonde is not your color, but I feel like red is very fitting for you, especially if you're gonna be playing Lady Luck in some minor chance of a HHN franchise movie. But other than that, you're an amazing actress, and you are fine like wine. Everybody's fine like wine in this line of what are we talking about? But either way, I still because I can see her definitely in the transformation into the awful monsters of Las Vegas and
Hmm.
into her little creature kind of thing. I feel like it would be a very interesting take on Lady Luck, especially since she has a very diverse background of acting. But my second pick would be Anya Taylor, just strictly for the aesthetic of she has done a lot of timely roles, if you
Hmm.
know what I mean. So I feel like she would fit the classical kind of old vintage vibe of the gambling, the Las Vegas times, and
Hmm.
especially during Queen's Gambit, we saw that she did a phenomenal job from being anywhere from very sickly to very calm. Because I can't imagine Anya Taylor also being a seductress if she really were to
Oh
put her
yeah, she
mind
she definitely has like
to
that
that.
look to her. Like, uh, I think what sold me on your idea of her as Lady Luck was actually in the trailer for Last Night in Soho, because she
Yeah,
plays kind of like that '60s, like seductive singer type thing, and like I can definitely see
yeah.
Lady Luck in that.
And I, as Anya Taylor, well, Anya Taylor as Lady Luck.
Yeah, I can definitely see that.
Yeah.
I like that. That's a good casting choice.
Yeah.
Yeah, Sarah
So
Paulson. I don't know because I haven't really seen too much of Sarah Paulson. Only what I've seen in Glass and like Bird Box and the first three seasons of American Horror Story. So that's at least in that I've seen her. I've never really seen much of like the seductress side of her. Mostly like the just
it's
like the regular
more,
person.
yeah, it's more of the documentary style. I think it was Roanoke.
Hmm.
You definitely see it in Hotel in some aspects where she's crazy, where she is like literally a junkie, but she has like the sexy elements to it. It's like a sexy, not a sexy kind of junkie. But I definitely I feel like in other elements, if you really were to look hard enough, I feel like she can pull that because she did play like a wifely type of role where she had to seduce her husband, but
Oh,
in
okay,
American Horror
gotcha.
Story. So, but that was in Cult.
Hmm.
Cold. I only no, she was a lesbian and well, she is a lesbian. But like she played an LGBTQ character in Colt, in which she was like playfully messing around with her girlfriend in the series.
Hmm.
Yeah, in the first two episodes, that's all I could watch because. Thank you, American Horror Story. You triggered one of my irrational fears that I had as a kid. Never mind. I would say worse things, but whatever. They awoke my irrational fear again, which I hate them for. But other than that,
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah. So
dear,
now moving on to our next female character. This one is a lovely little lady. Goes by the name of Cindy. Now I need to
um,
know, what are your thoughts? Who can play Cindy?
so for my choices of Cindy, I actually have two. One I know I noticed that you have one of the same, and then another one is a different one, but another the other one is she is an interesting choice because
Okay.
she is still a little bit older,
Mm-hmm.
but I she definitely has the childlike features because if you were to put her next to our choices of the caretaker, I feel like it could work
Okay.
in a
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna actually go with a different one. Then we'll probably talk about
The one that we
that
both
initial
have. Yeah.
one. Yeah. So my off choice is Chloe Grace Moretz.
Okay.
She is, of course, Carrie, and of course, in Dark Shadows, she was the grungy teenager that was a werewolf, that kind of thing. Also plays a lot of teenage roles. Has the very young but very exhausted, tired face, and I can imagine that Cindy because she's kind of like a very deathly looking child that she would definitely feel like if we were to put her next to Daddy Kane and we were wow, I just referred to him as Daddy Kane. Oh wow,
Because that's how we're supposed to refer to
I
him.
was referred to him. Oh well, I accepted that fate. Um, if you were to see them in a cinematic universe, I feel like it would work well. That's just me though.
Okay.
Um, it's just like an older take of Cindy, like just maybe after they have been already doing their stuff together as
Yeah,
father and
like some
daughter,
time has
that kind of
passed and
thing.
everything. Yeah.
Yeah, so
Okay.
I definitely see Chloe Grace Moretz being Cindy, especially with like maybe some darker, longer black hair, but still with the same dress on, with the
Hmm.
very droopy like eyes that she has. She has a very distinct look to her, which is
She
why I
does.
like
Yeah,
her a
that's
lot
true.
for a lot of horror films. So, and she's a great actor in general, and of course, the one that we both have is Millie Bobby Brown,
Yep.
11 from Stranger Things, and of course, I think it was Jane Sherlock. I don't remember.
Yes, I think it
Um,
was.
yeah, I'm sorry if I butchered the first name, but I know that she is also in a new series, and of course, Kong versus Godzilla. So yeah.
Yeah, I definitely think like her portrayal of Eleven is what sells me on her as Cindy, especially with
Yeah.
the telekinetic powers and that kind of stuff there. So
Yeah.
that's yeah, and she still has that very youthful look to her. She's got that short stature, so I think it would be a good fit for her.
Yeah, but she's growing up too fast, dude. Like
Yeah.
I just feel like it's not been too long, and I see her in God versus the God, like Godzilla versus Kong, and I'm like, wait a second, chill, wait, stop the brakes. I'm like,
Stop
yo,
making us feel old.
oh my god. But the thing is, like, that's another thing that worries me about Stranger Things is that how are they gonna keep them looking youthful? They're going up quick.
Yeah.
Puberty's hitting them like a bus right now. Like but it's not in a bad way, like they're not like aging badly, it's just
No, it's
like
just that like they
it,
for the type of the age of the characters, they already start to look a little older than that.
yeah,
Yeah.
like that's what I'm a little bit concerning about, but I would still see Millie Bobby Brown as Cindy,
Hmm.
um especially with she has a very um innocent look, but she can definitely look some type of evil way, as we all know with 11 she can switch
Yup.
gears so quick.
Exactly.
Hmm.
My other casting choice would actually be McKenna Grace. So she was also in Handmaid's Tale. She was in this
Okay.
movie called Gifted, and I think the one that kind of pushes it in for me is her character in The Blackout's Daughter on Netflix, because it's definitely like
I feel
a
like we were supposed to watch that. Oh yeah,
yeah, we were gonna watch that at some point, and but like we just never got a chance to go around and do a podcast episode on it.
she looks like a younger version of Sabrina
Yes,
Salmon from Netflix.
I almost got them confused, but I was like, no, 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 I know exactly which one I'm trying to look for. But yeah, like based on
Yeah,
like her facial features, because she has like that really, really youthful kid look to her, and I think with that dark hair, she would look really creepy and just like the epitome of that creepy child. And
Yeah.
also, if you like pair her up next to Mads Mikkelsen, I think she would be really a good pair next to him.
I definitely think so too.
Yeah.
What was it? Lacey Sierra. Oh, okay, hold on. Give me one quick second. Hi guys, how are you guys? You guys are amazing. I'm looking for someone right now. She would be very ideal as Cindy. Now that I think about it, Sierra Bravo from the movie Pure in Hulu. Have you seen that movie, Into
Mm-mm.
the Dark? You can't tell me that this girl is not Cindy material. You cannot tell me. I literally just thought of that. I was like, wait, I just recently saw a movie. Like,
Oh wow, yeah.
yeah. So Sierra Bravo is a actress that I discovered through the movie Pure. Is also a horror film on Hulu. It's a very fucked up horror film because it's basically like the dads take the little girls to religious church for them to like never sell their purity, and if they do really bad things to their own daughters. So it
Yeesh.
is very disturbing. It just take Midsummer, but like with daddies and like their daughters, and them like basically saying you're not allowed to sleep with boys, that kind of
Oh
thing.
wow.
So that kind of vibe. So yeah, and she's actually really short. She is 5'4", so she works
Yeah. So yeah,
for
she can
Cindy.
definitely like match that vibe.
Yeah.
Sure. Hmm.
So
A good choice. I
I don't
like
know
that.
why. Yeah. But other than that, which
We're
was
moving on to some interesting ones now.
yay. Is it
Because
your turn or my turn?
it is my turn now.
Yeah, go go
So
go
we're
go.
talking now about one of your favorites. We're talking good old Chance.
Oh yeah.
Now, again, this is two that I have. Two actresses that I picked that could play this character. First one is going to be a little bit weird, but that is Christina Ricci.
Okay.
I can I can see her playing this because we already know she can play the darkness, like the dark side of Chance because of Wednesday in the Addams Family.
Okay. Yeah. That's where I end up.
And I feel like she is one of those actresses that doesn't get a lot of roles where she can kind of just lose control.
Yeah.
And I think that given that, I think she would be a really good choice for that just because like it would finally give her that chance to just go crazy, go off the wall and just do whatever she wants.
Mhm.
So I think that's weird, but I think it's a good fit for
Yeah.
her.
That's
Yeah.
fair. It's just a little bit hard to imagine her out of her element of just serious and
Mhm.
mysterious. Almost kind of like Winona Ryder, you know, like it's just very
Yeah.
hard for her.
Funny enough,
If she
I would
was
have
younger,
chosen yeah. Funny enough, I would have just chosen a young Christina Ricci to be Cindy because I mean
yeah,
Wednesday is Cindy.
essentially, and if
Yeah.
Winona Ryder was younger, also Sunday.
Yeah.
But
But
like
then
I just hope that she will, you know, like if she has been, well, like we're talking about this as if this movie's gonna be made.
right, yeah.
But
'Cause
um,
apparently we work with Universal and we're like, yeah, we have this idea. We're gonna make this movie now.
yeah. So
Anyway, my second choice is something I don't know why I didn't think of this when I first made this list. I thought of it literally like right before we started recording this. And that is Sherry Moon Zombie. I don't know
of
why
course,
it took me this long, but Sherry Moon Zombie is I mean, and you've told me this like multiple times. Her portrayal of Baby in House of a Thousand Corpses is one of the major inspirations for Chance. So I'm like, why not get, the baby herself?
yeah, exactly. As I told Yusuf time and time again, Aaron Klein, as I was reading in interviews, I can't quote it off of Aaron Klein's mouth, but in an interview, Aaron Klein did not know who Harley Quinn was because they basically described it to her as a, uh, hey, be like Harley Quinn, but murderous. very hyper. She's like, "Who is Harley Quinn?" She had no idea who Harley Quinn was, and then they gave her a couple of days to kind of audition and kind of prepare for herself for the role because, as you guys know, she has played different roles in Universal. Also, like now she's apparently a stage director for a lot of shows in Universal now. But when she did Chance, she drew her inspiration from Baby, and that's how that became. And then just imagine the roles being switched. Uh,
Hmm.
Sherry does not know uh, who Harley Quinn is, but then she's like, "Hey, I know Chance," and that's how that came to be.
There
So
you go.
that was also my choice as well, Sherry Moon Zombie, because it would be very ideal. For me, it's very hard to cast Chance because it's like, damn, like there's really has to be someone to do her justice. But I think that Sherry Moon is like the perfect Chance
Hmm. I think so too.
pick. Hmm.
Yeah, but I
But
know you have
like,
another choice in there in the mix that you want
yeah,
to throw in.
my second choice, if you know Sherry Moon Zombie calls in sick or some shit. No, I'm kidding. Um, I think because it's very hard to imagine a lot of maniacal, crazy female characters, but then it occurred to me before the podcast, just like it occurred to Yusuf about Sherry Moon. It is Jennifer Tilly because I have definitely seen her in a maniacal sense. If she can grab the maniacal Tiffany that we know from Bride of Chucky and then just let it even more loose and more crazy, I definitely think that it would work in the favor of Chance. And she would definitely, I feel like she would have a very good chemistry with Jack Nicholson or Michael Keaton,
I think so
in my
too. Yeah,
opinion. Yeah.
yeah, definitely.
So,
Yeah,
yeah,
I can definitely
so
see Jennifer Tilly. She, as we know from Tiffany, she can definitely play that crazy, maniacal, evil character, but also has like kind of that funny, sweet side to it.
yeah, exactly, which is all about what Chance is about, and of course being kind of like a crazy, sweet girlfriend. Crazy, but we love her. But instead of a doll, we're dealing with a crazy
Live
clown.
action human
That
being. But moving on, what is so now we're moving into some that aren't icons, but they are kind of fan favorite characters.
yeah.
And I'm gonna let you take the floor on this one.
I kind of looked at your list for this one because I was like, with HR Blood and Guts, it's hard. It's hard. So the next one is HR Blood and Guts. I obviously I've been that year. I was there that year. They did the Holidays of Horror, but it's kind of hard to see somebody do that kind of role, especially like. Well, you know what? Now that have you seen the history of swear words in
Mhm.
Netflix?
Mhm.
So now I definitely see why you picked Nicolas Cage because that's why I put for mine. I'm not original because it's kind of hard. But now that thinking about it, I was like, yo, like Nicolas Cage did the history of swear words, and it just reminded me a little bit of that HR Blood and Guts vibe. So I
Mhm.
definitely see your point there. So Nicolas Cage for me. So
Yeah, especially because we already know he's also known for playing these ridiculous, crazy characters. Like the
yeah.
other characters in Mandy, the fucking protagonist in the Wicker Man remake.
Hmm.
Like he's known for playing those weird offbeat characters. And
Yeah.
then it always makes me think of the whole Andy Samberg bit from Saturday Night Live where it was called like In the Cage. And it's Andy Samberg playing Nicolas Cage and he'd be like, "Oh, we're gonna talk about this movie, like Pirates of the Caribbean or something," and he's like, "It's about these pirates that fight undead pirates." And then I just have one question: how am I not in this movie?
Yeah. But I definitely think that would be a good fit.
So my other pick, again, it's a little unorthodox, but based on the versatility of this actor, I think I would give a chance here to Sterling K. Brown from This Is Us
Yeah.
because he can switch moods kind of like on the snap of a finger. Because we've seen him in This Is Us. It's kind of like the goofy dad, like the dad joke guy in This Is Us, which I kind of feel like I never experienced HR Blood and Guts, but I feel like he would be that type of character. But then once he gets annoyed or he gets mad, he changes completely, and like even like just like the way he looks at people or like the way he looks at something is completely different when he's supposed to be in a certain type of mood. So I think
Yeah,
he might be a good fit for that.
can
Again,
just
that one's
really
kind of a
imagine
spitball
like
just because I don't know much about HR Blood and Guts to begin with. So
it's like something that maybe like I can definitely see that though. See your point.
hmm
If you were to watch, if anybody has videos on YouTube, like you want to basically do more of your perspective on HR Blood and Guts from the beginning of the house, which was like how the comedic houses were like near Beetlejuice.
hmm
They used to be there. They just had like a really big screen, and you just saw HR Blood and Guts like go through this entire thing, and
Gotcha.
if someone has a recording of that entire segment, then that's
Yeah, I'm sure.
definitely
I'm sure
ideal.
somebody must have it somewhere.
Yeah.
Funny enough, I had another pick before I settled on Sterling K. Brown. That would have actually been Jeff Daniel Phillips. He's not super well known. He's been in a few of the Rob Zombie movies. And honestly, the only reason that I had him on that list for a little while is because he looks like that type of character. Like he looks like the guy that has like the big mutton chops and like the handlebar mustache. Like he just looks like HR Blood and Guts.
Yeah. I definitely see
Like
it for
I'll
sure.
have to send you a picture of him later because like you need to see him. You're like, oh, he looks like HR Blood and Guts.
Definitely do. I need to because I'll be learning about actors today. Yeah.
welcome to acting class 101. I'm
Mm,
sorry. No, let me rephrase that. Welcome to acting thirst 101.
acting thirst 101. There it is.
That's gonna be our hashtag now. Acting class 101. Acting thirst. I'm sorry. Acting thirst
Acting
101.
thirst. Acting thirst. All right. So our next icon, or somewhat icon,
Yes. So the next
is
one we have here. I love this one. It is the Voodoo Queen. And
she
my
amazing.
oh yes. And honestly, my first pick is like it's already the Voodoo Queen. It's Angela Bassett.
Same here. Same here.
I
I
mean,
was like American Horror Story.
exactly.
Yeet.
Like literally, that's the only reason I chose because like she already played a Voodoo Queen on American Horror Story, and she was fucking amazing
Yeah.
in it.
hmm I
Yeah,
think so too because I can't see anybody else as
yeah. Plus, she has like that regal, queenly look to her too. So like that's
yeah.
like it's one of those like she kind of has like this hypnotizing like presence to her. For like if you're in contact with her, you're like, man, I will do whatever you tell me to do. Type thing.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, we both got the same people.
It's because we
Because I
we
was
know we know about this. Like we just like already
yeah.
have an idea of what actors can really play these characters so well.
Yeah.
Is what is the next one? Because it is also another one. I'm looking at the doc now. It's the other one that we have in common.
And the other one that we probably think is gonna be a good fit for Voodoo Queen is Lupita Nyong'o. Sorry if I
Yes.
butcher that. Nyong'o.
Nyango.
She was the main protagonist for Us. And she, as we see her as a mom of children of a regular family to a crazy person that's trying to kill her own self. Not actually, but like like she does such a phenomenal job in like the just the tone and the acting
hmm
that it would be cool to see her in a more regal spot rather than just a homely like type of movie.
hmm
It then homely in a sense that there's nothing fantasy or kind of like uh I guess elaborate in her
hmm
costuming. To see her acting with like an elaborate costume and being a voodoo queen, I feel like she would do so well. Especially the fact that how creepy she can act as her other self
Yeah.
was definitely something that I can definitely see as the voodoo queen as well.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. My whole thing too is like, not if you really think about it, in Us, like that version of her is essentially a voodoo queen because she is the one that kind of creates and sets up the whole plan into motion about moving all of the tethered from underneath the ground up to the surface, and like she's kind of their version of the voodoo queen.
Yeah,
So
for
I'm like,
sure.
I can definitely see her playing a voodoo queen.
Yeah. And I still, like I said, that's a movie I will always deeply study until the end of time. Because I have Jordan Peele, I see you, that kind of thing. But yeah, those two women are queens, and
Oh
like
yeah,
I
for sure.
definitely see them as that kind of
Hmm.
character in Voodoo Queen.
All right, but
I'm
it is
guessing it's my turn.
time. It is. It is time for our next character. We're almost done. We have two more characters, everybody. Don't worry.
Yeah. Don't worry, I'm sorry for we're like repetitive and like he was like she's awesome, she's great. And like, listen,
I like
we
him.
picked these
Oh,
carefully.
I'm thirsty.
I'm thirsty and us like drooling over men and women and stuff, you know. But Yusuf a little more gay than that, but it's fine. Like in a
Wow.
sense,
Okay.
no,
Thanks.
no, but it's not like an insulting way. Like
I
like
know. I
I
know.
said, I'm straight, but I'm all for it. You guys already heard me simping over other women too, and I'm straight. So don't at me
there are
like.
just some. There are just some people that no matter who you like, you just like attracted to them. Okay, that's all it is.
Gurney Weaver though.
Oh yeah. But
But yeah.
anyway, enough of our thirst. Vanya, who is our next character that we are speaking of here?
Okay, so I took a more of a horror comedy approach to this.
Okay.
I this the next kind of icon, not really, but of course very known in the event is Mr. Meats. So I took more of a horror comedy type of approach to this. My
Okay.
first one is, I'm sorry, I'm gonna butcher this name, but Zach Galifianakis from. I'm awful at pronouncing names. But is it Galifianakis?
Galifianakis.
Galifianakis. Y'all are gonna laugh at me.
Oh,
I can
I
hear
love
it.
that. I love that.
Yeah,
That's amazing.
I can't threaten you now because it's out in the
It's
world. It's
your
fine.
yes. The bullying that you put me through is already out of the
Yeah,
world for everybody to see.
yep, there it is. It's fine. I get what I deserve. It's okay. So
Thank
I
you.
definitely from Hangover. I can definitely see him acting very goofy in a little butcher outfit and just being completely insane and happy go lucky and that kind of thing.
Okay.
So yeah, that is my first pick because he's like greasy looking already. Not like in a bad way, but
Like that's
like
just
it's
his
just a
look kind of
stereotype,
thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like for when he's being casted. So now that he can also like, act funny, then it adds on to it because
Hmm.
you're killing people while being funny about it and being a smartass. And I feel like he could definitely fit that profile. But if not him, is Alec Baldwin.
Okay.
Uh, I could
Interesting.
definitely see it because he could be very sassy, very freaking out there with like his comments. I can imagine him raging and throwing like his butcher
Butcher
knife
knives and
everywhere,
stuff.
like literally slamming it on like body parts like maniacally. And I've seen him in a lot of roles where he kind of does similar movements like that. So I definitely see him
Hmm.
as the ideal Mr. Meats. But if we're gonna
Okay.
take up more of a goofy look to it, then it's Zach, and I'm not gonna attempt to even say the last name anymore. But yeah,
Okay. That's an interesting choice for Alec Baldwin. I never really would have thought of him as Mr. Meats.
because
But
I thought more Beetlejuice when I was like, oh, Beetlejuice, he
mm,
was kind of like it was
okay.
funny.
Because for me, I was kind of going for kind of the neighborhood nice guy, like your neighborhood butcher, because that's kind of what he was in that house.
Yeah,
So my first choice was Eric Stone Street from Modern Family. Because
Okay.
like I honestly just like stick a mustache in him, and he is Mr. Meats. Like,
True.
especially because he can go a little darker.
Oh
Because
yeah.
obviously on Modern Family, he's like the the jolly, funny person with like a little bit of sass to him. But then there's like the one episode that they're in American Horror Story where they're just like this anxiety filled, feared, like phobic mess.
Yeah.
So like I think literally just Eric Stone Street with a mustache is just Mr. Meats.
I'm seeing it now. It's definitely there, better than
Like
my
we should
choices.
take a picture of him and
Sheesh.
just like Photoshop a mustache onto it and just be like, "Hey, look, it's Mr. Meats."
Mr. Meats, we got the official casting for our fake HHN
Just make
film.
like a fake headline.
Fake headline, Lord
Eric Stone
send
Street
me.
officially cast as Sam Meats in first ever HHN film.
Yeah. But
But anyway, my second choice would actually be Nick Offerman from Parks and Rec.
it's
Because he
perfect.
also has like that kind of all American, like man's man type look.
Yeah.
And obviously he's always got like that serious look on his face, but I think he can also be like kind of boyish and innocent funny type thing.
Yeah.
So I like
See
yeah,
it.
I feel like he would be a good fit for that, especially because you already see him with a mustache and you're like, hey, he kinda looks like Mr. Meats. He could look like him.
Yeah. I feel like he would be a little bit more than Eric, but
Mhm.
I feel like he like Eric would feels a little bit more authentic to him, but
Yeah, I think
Nick
so too.
Offerman is just like the mustache is what sells me. That's the problem. The mustache sells me. It's like shit. Like
Can we just take Eric Stone Street and Nick Offerman and just like morph them
mesh
into
them
one person?
together. Yeah. I
I'm all
yeah.
for it.
100%. 100%.
And yes, we are now moving to our last character here. Now, this one is one of the ones that I added, and I'm actually very curious to see what people think, especially to see what Shelby thinks, because this is one of their favorite characters, and that is Boris Schuster from the Bloody Mary storyline.
The thing is that I feel like I'm gonna disappoint some people because I don't know what they look like. I don't know what like
Okay.
Boris Schuster
I
looks
don't know
like.
why I always like imagine them as kind of like the like a 40s type detective. Like the
Yeah.
stereotypical like guy with a monologue that's like, it was this dark city just dripping with atmosphere type thing.
You guys should definitely watch this podcast on YouTube. Just saying.
You see my ridiculous face trying to do that voice.
Yeah. Yep.
But anyway, yes, so these I think were a lot of fun. I'm curious, like based on the character, like these actors' looks, and based on the way that they've acted and like the other things I've seen them in. My first choice for Boris Schuster would actually be Cillian Murphy from A Quiet Place
Okay.
Part Two, Batman Begins, 28 Days Later. Like he has got like a huge range when it comes to his acting skills. And I feel like, and even in like Peaky Blinders, I feel like he's got like that type of hard boiled, like grizzled detective type feel to him.
Yeah.
And
100%.
then and then my next choice is one of your names. It's James McAvoy
Oh yeah.
because of his ability to just play pretty much any type of character,
Mhm.
and not only that, he can play them really really well. So I feel like he could also be a good choice for that type of detective, like you know, I'll do anything it takes to get the answers type guy.
He definitely does seem like it though, James
Yeah,
McAvoy. It would be very interesting to see him in that kind of getup, honestly,
and
because
like the
with
the 40s trench coat and hat.
oh yeah, Jesus.
So what do
What
you
is his
have for
name?
for Mr. Boris Schuster?
Okay, so this just occurred to me as I was like when the way you described it, I was like, okay, I can see it now. So I'm thinking of a modern take, also an older take. So with the
Okay.
modern take, I thought Taken. Awful. I know. Boris Schuster at Liam Neeson. So I could definitely
I'm just
because of the
imagining him.
voice.
I'm just imagining his voice in front of
Fuck.
the mirror, just going, "Bloody Mary, Bloody Mary, I will find you, Bloody Mary."
No, Jesus Christ. Like I don't know. That's what I thought because I seen Liam Neeson in a lot of suits. Like he was always in a very higher up position, and the fact that he would basically like I don't know if we would go into like a paranormal type investigations versus something of a case, but I feel like Liam Neeson would definitely be modern take at least on it. Then my second choice, which as you were talking, I was like, I can definitely see this, is Bob Hoskins, based on Who Framed Roger Rabbit.
Oh wow.
But obviously more of a serious role rather than a comedic
Mhm.
take on it because he has the look for it. I do see more of an older man rather than a young man with Bloody Mary, but in a sense of trying to call on to her, but that kind
Mm.
of thing. So yeah,
Yeah, I think like my whole reasoning for it was, this is a guy that was investigating Bloody Mary for like since the 50s. So I
yeah,
figured like we could just, he could grow older as like the series, as like the story went on type thing.
yeah. So I mean, it's still solid choices. I don't know about the
Hmm.
Liam Neeson. Liam Neeson, I was just like, suit investigation. I will find you and I will kill you. Not really, because she will fucking murder the fuck out of Liam Neeson. But it's still an interesting take. I
That
guess
was
I
that was an
have
interesting choice. I can kind of see it though. I can kind of see him in like that look, that costume type
that.
thing.
Yeah, that like it has
Yeah.
been investigating Bloody Mary for like years, and it's just
Yeah.
like he's growing old, he's tired, and then he finally runs into her. No, I'm kidding. But yeah, I was trying to look up pictures. I'm like, there's no pictures of Boris Schuster.
But
Darn.
yeah, but that is our dream casting for an HHN movie. And honestly, this was a lot of fun. I was curious as to like what we were going to come up with. There were some really good surprises in there though.
I think so too. Um, Definitely, the Christina Ricci as Chance is definitely
It's out there.
off-putting,
It's definitely
but
out
it's
there.
not off. It's not off-putting because she's like literally another queen of goth, but it's like
It's just
ooh,
weird when you
Morticia
think of the character.
Adams.
Yeah.
Tisha Adams as Lady Luck.
Oh, Angelica Huston, yes.
Uh,
Or even like Elvira would have been great as Lady Luck.
oh yeah. She's a
Anyway,
little enthusiastic in a sense, just a
a
little bit.
little bit.
But like I said, the actors are meant to shift into the role that they're
Yeah.
given, so I feel like it's not too bad.
Yeah. But anyway, that is our list.
Mm-hmm.
We're very
Hope you guys
curious to
had fun.
know, yeah, and we're very curious to know what everybody thinks of like what their opinions are on who they would choose as actors or actresses for this type of work.
Yes,
So
please.
I'm always down to hear other people's opinions and like hearing it from their perspective of like, oh wow, you're right. I never would have thought of them doing that type of role that way, type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
But
I
it is time
disagree.
for I know you do because you like to play the devil's advocate. You're a contrarian sometimes, but in a fun way.
Buddy, hey buddy.
Oh no, don't apologize. It's funny. I like it. Um,
He's flirting
but
with me.
it's time for yes, it is time for our housekeeping before we end this episode here.
Yeah.
Vanya, where can you be found?
I can be found in Twitter and YouTube at HHN Cultus on both. It's very straightforward. I do makeup vlogs and I talk anything horror related and theme parks, mostly Universal Studios, and of their updates. So I mostly talk a lot about makeup and HHN for the most part. But if you that is something that you guys are interested, come and check me out. So yeah, where can you be found, Yusef?
So for my personal stuff, you can find me on Instagram at Yusef1220 and on Twitter at itbeyusef. Trying to post a little bit more stuff on Twitter because I wasn't super active on there. I was mostly active on the podcast page. But to follow the podcast, we are on Instagram at Sounds from the Grave, on Twitter as Sounds Grave, I think it was.
Yeah.
I couldn't write it in Sounds from the Grave all the way through. And then we are also on Facebook. And we also have an email that is soundsfromthegravepodcast@gmail.com. And we are also, outside of a podcast, we do run the YouTube channel, which is also Sounds from the Grave. So, and not only that, our podcast itself, you can hear that on Spotify, Anchor, Apple Podcasts, and pretty much anywhere else you can listen to podcasts.
Yeah, so we're not hard to find. So.
No, we're not. And we're always willing to talk to anybody, like, who just reach out to us. We're always down to talk, down to discuss stuff. And if you want to be on the show, just reach out to us. We'll be more than happy to fit you in and then get some people on here and get some good conversations going.
Yeah, I always like talking to people, and I'll stop being so contrarian as this man will.
I'm not.
claim.
It's not a bad thing.
I know. All right. Well, have a good night, guys, and I hope you guys enjoyed this episode.
Yeah.
And stay spooky.
Keep it creepy, everybody. Bye.